Many years ago now, when I was back at secondary school, or high school for some people, we used to have visits from careers advisors. What used to come, used to judge you by what your current grades are or your potential grades are, and then they're going to tell you what you can and can't do. For me, I wanted to be a PE teacher, and this is what I kept on telling them, and they kept on telling me I couldn't because my D in geography or history wouldn't allow me to go on to further education. And I'm saying, okay, how do I do this then? How do I go to university? Oh no, you can't, because geography and history, not good enough grades. If you asked me back then what I wanted to be when I got older, I would say a PE teacher, a sports teacher. I already knew what I wanted, but I wasn't given any guidance. I was told that I can't do it. I was told what I needed, but not how to get it and reach there. So I'm going to go through a couple of options now, which will allow people to work as a PE teacher abroad. On my overseas jobs board at mattwardconsulting.com, there's already been a few PE teaching roles abroad, and 2 more have been added today. So I thought it would be good just to go through what could qualify you for such roles. Now, there's different options at schools abroad. Okay. For example, in the UK, you mainly have your public schools. Yes, there are some private schools, but basically for the whole standardisation of a PE teaching job in the UK, you need to be a qualified PE teacher with qualified teaching status. However, when you go abroad, and again, this is rightly or wrongly, but I'm just showing you the available options out there, there are international schools and then there are others. Now, when I say others, others might be a privately run school who are happy for a well-qualified and experienced sports coach, maybe who has some teaching experience, but not necessarily has QTS status, qualified teaching status from their home country. So here, let's start with looking at the standard criteria. We're going to look at the qualifications, we're going to look at the experience, which is generally asked for in job advertisements when you're looking to get a PE teaching role abroad. Obviously, qualifications, they are looking, you'll have a degree anyway, and they're looking for some kind of qualified teacher status certificate. There are those which would accept a master's in education, maybe at international school. Now, there are different tiers, so you'll have a top tier of international school which will say you need qualified teacher status from your home country. Now, when you do go down to a lower tier international school, you may be accepted with an education degree or a master's top up in education along with your degree without having QTS. It means you got a PGCE. And just in case you don't know, PGCE, Postgraduate Certificate in Education. Okay. Now, a PGCE concentrates on learning the skill and the foundations of actually teaching, whereas a master's degree, you're topping up your existing knowledge. So a PGCE is a teacher training course. A master's in education, for example, is an academic course. Both of them, usually you take it over 1 year after you've got your degree. Normally, I'm not sure in different countries, but normally your PGCE has master's credits involved in the course anyway. So basically all you're doing there is topping up on credits to then get to your master's in education. I'm just saying master's in education, it could be a different related field of a master's degree. So they're the standard qualifications needed for international schools, and I'm looking here at the top higher level international schools abroad. Experience, look, if you look around what people are asking for, they're looking for at least 2 years worth. Now, for 2 years worth, look, it can be flexible. You may get your 2 years worth while you're studying. You may already be teaching in some capacity or coaching. Look, it depends how you word it. It depends how you apply for the position, and in your application there are ways to include and fulfill the criteria, what's needed from experience, what you've already gained whilst studying. Even if you're a mature student, maybe you've already got 10 years worth of experience, and that may hold you in good stead, in good ground when you do go on to apply for these roles. Okay, so this isn't just for school leavers, new newly qualified PE teachers who have gone through the system. This is also for mature students who have qualified. Maybe they're in their 30s, even 40s. They've left their job, they've got themselves qualified, but they do have previous experience already at teaching or coaching as well. Now moving on to the other section now. I've got first-hand experience in this because I haven't got a PGCE, I haven't got a Masters in Education, but I do hold a degree in sports coaching, and I did have previous coaching and teaching experience before I got the PE job abroad. So when we're looking at the qualifications this time, we're looking for a degree in related field. This can be a degree in sports coaching development, sports performance. For so many out there now which could be related. So if you go in, if you've got a degree in that related field, it's saying you've studied for 3 years in the subject of the teaching role you're applying for. Added to that, I'll just say what I had. I had other coaching quals. So I had coaching qualifications nationally recognised from the UK in athletics, in football, in badminton. So already I had 3 national governing body qualifications in sports. So I'm putting that with my degree in sports coaching, and it just helps to bulk out your CV a little bit more. I'm not as impressive as having a PGCE or Masters in Education with QTS status, what's needed at the highest level, highest tier international schools. But I did my best to show that I did have relevant qualifications to the subject I want to teach in. Look, rightly or wrongly, I know people who have got PE teaching jobs without this. I know qualified athletic coaches who've got a job teaching PE. Qualified football coaches, or soccer, depending where you're listening from, have got a job in PE abroad. Now, normally you need a degree to get a work permit in most countries. That's basically the minimum. However, there are people who've got a degree in, let's say, for example, geography, but they have different coaching qualifications, a wide range of coaching ability, and they've been able to get a position as a PE teacher. Experience needed, again, look, 2 years is standard, but when we're looking at the detail of the experience, okay, it's helpful if you've got multiple sports. If you've got more than one sport, if you go in there and you just got a football coaching experience, then basically you're a football coach. Yes, it's great that you qualified in sports coaching, but it would help if you've got some kind of experience in a multitude of sports as well. I mean, you might be going into a school which concentrates on the American or Canadian curriculum, for example. So if you go into a school with American curriculum, they're focusing on basketball, softball, baseball. So if you know this is something you want to do and you're not in this department here, you want to see if you can upskill yourself in a multiple of different sports. Normally, if you look at your country's governing bodies for the different sports, they normally have courses available. No better time to start now. That's what I did. I went on, I think, UK athletics. I was in level 2 of coaching athletics. Football, I was there, done that. Badminton, you can start off at level 1. I needed to. I enjoyed playing badminton, but I didn't know how to coach it. You can do this now to start bulking out your CV and start building up your portfolio, which will enable you to hopefully get a role along with your degree. And look, it does help if a degree is in sports coaching. Come on, you've got to give yourself the biggest chance possible. Now, for those of you who maybe are already in a teaching role abroad and you haven't got a PGCE, or you're in another country and you want to move to a country abroad, let's say Asia, Middle East, to teach PE, or even any other teacher, but we're focusing on PE teaching at the moment, and you haven't got PGCE, there's something called a PGCEI. Okay, now this is based on the PGCE, but it's international. That's what the I stands for. Now, if you're listening from the UK, the PGCEI is level 7, Level 7 on the UK National Qualifications Framework. Now the main difference between a PGCE and a PGCEI is that this is mainly distance learning. You have to go for a short period at the start of the course. Normally it's held somewhere neutral in Asia, such as Malaysia, where you go there, you get introduced to it, and you do some face-to-face work in the first week, and then after that you're basically working at the school you're already working in. So this is for people who have got access to teaching. So this is more distance learning based, and it makes it more available for people who can't go and spend a year doing a PGCE back in their home country. At this moment it can't give you qualified teacher status. Isn't, shall we say, as well respected as a PGCE, but it will get you into some international schools, possibly not the highest tier ones, but depending on country, depending on region, if you've got a degree with sports coaching certificates, with experience, and you've got PGCEI, you should be quite confident that you'll be able to apply for some not bad level PE teaching roles at different international schools. If this is something you're interested in, go to University of Nottingham's website, you'll see it all on there. It's really easy to enrol, it's really easy to sign up. And yes, there are other establishments which offer this. It's something you should be looking into if you haven't got a PGCE. If you're interested in teaching abroad, get onto my overseas jobs board now. It's totally free, you don't have to pay any fees. At the moment there's roles in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Singapore, Malaysia and Vietnam. mattwardconsulting.com, search for the jobs board in the menu and get yourself on, get yourself involved.